Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. The Dodgers, they signed another guy. This time Tanner Scott. 4 years, 72 million. I feel like our channel should just become a Dodgers central type YouTube channel.
We might have
I feel
to.
like we're talking about the Dodgers every single video at this point. But I mean Tanner Scott, you can't deny he was one of the best relievers in baseball last year.
Yeah.
We go over their depth chart. We'll get into it quickly here because there's not much to say. This bullpen is unreal. They already had Alex Vesia, who had a great last year, and now you're adding Tanner Scott. Those are two of the best left-handers in the game. What do you think about Tanner Scott going to the Dodgers?
Yeah, it's a definitely an interesting move because I thought, they have guys there that can save games. Kopech has triple digit stuff. Blake Trinan has had history in saving games. Evan Phillips has been a pretty good closer for them when he took over for Kenley, right? So obviously it never hurts to go out and get a guy that had a 1.7 ERA as a lefty. But this is probably one of the most balanced bullpens. Honestly, if you go up to the starting pitching, it's probably one of the best starting pitching rotations we've seen in quite some time. Um, yeah, like this team has no holes. This team has no holes. And you shouldn't have any holes when you're approaching a $400 million payroll, right? So, you should be pretty damn good. I thought it was funny that their GM said we're making our moves so we don't have to make more moves in July at the deadline, and I think that's a pretty good example of what they're doing here. They went and got Blake Snell. They went and brought back Teoscar Hernandez. They brought in Conforto. They've done a lot of heavy lifting in the offseason that I mean, if you stay healthy, you shouldn't really have to make any moves unless it's maybe getting a depth bench piece. But I mean, it's been an unbelievable offseason for them.
Yeah, they do have Tanner Scott penciled in as their closer.
Hmm.
You would think so, right? If you're giving this
Yeah,
guy $72 million.
yeah,
They are projecting him to get 22 saves once again, with Kopech trickled in, Trinan trickled in. I could see that happening, especially if Vesia is down. If
yeah,
something were to happen to Vesia, or he pitched on back-to-back nights, and Scott comes out for the eighth or the seventh
right.
in a big spot in the game.
Yeah.
Um, so I think he will get the bulk of the save opportunities,
Hmm.
but I do agree that Kopech and Trinan will probably get some opportunities as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, the Dodgers, they're rolling right now. You talked about their rotation up here. That doesn't even say Shohei Ohtani in there either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, yeah, this team's stacked. It's potentially the best team of all time on paper. We will find out this year, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this team's going to be very tough to beat in the NL. And the NL has a ton of good teams, and it seems like they've been loading up on talent the entire offseason as well. As we've seen, Soto go to the Mets.
Mhm.
Um, you know, Snell stayed in the NL, going from the Giants to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Scott stays in the NL, going from the Padres to the Dodgers. Um, but yeah, how do you think those teams are feeling right now?
Yeah. I mean,
Especially the Padres. I
if
mean,
I'm
they
a
gave up a
Padres
lot.
fan, I'm all pissed. You give up your second, your fourth, your seventh, and I think your 14th best prospect. Don't quote me on that. But they gave out. I know they gave up three top 10 prospects to trade for Scott, and for him to go to their biggest rival after 2 months of using him, that's tough. That's a tough one to swallow. Obviously, the Padres were really aggressive last year, and props to them. I mean, you kind of have to when you're competing with the Dodgers, but yeah, that's that one hurts for sure if you're a Padres fan.
Yeah, I think the team that has the most chance of knocking the Dodgers off would be the D-backs. Talked about the NL loading up on talent. Don't forget they got Corbin Burns.
Yep.
So if we're looking at all the rotations, obviously the Padres are dealing with some injury bug there. Musgrove out for the year. Who knows what's going to happen with Dylan Cease if he gets moved.
Hmm.
The Giants, they're building something. It looks like they're getting closer,
Yep.
but that they're still a ways behind there in my opinion. So the D-backs are young. They were just in the World Series a couple of years ago.
Yep.
They're adding Corbin Burns. So if there's one team that you can look out for, It is the D-backs, and then if you're a Rockies fan, you should have just turned it off when I asked that question because I've said this on this channel multiple times.
Mhm.
If I'm a Rockies fan right now, you can do a complete rebuild, have 100 lost seasons for the next 10 years, and get the number one pick every single year for the next 10 years. I don't know if it'll be enough to beat the Dodgers.
Seriously, it's tough. Like it's I gotta retract my statement. I said that every team can do this. That I was so out of line saying that. Because it's it's crazy. I just didn't take into consideration about the amount of owners that the Dodgers have, and I mean it's just a different animal when you're looking at it that way.
Yeah, it's hats off to them though. I mean,
Yeah.
they're reinvesting their money into their fans, into their team. They just won the World Series. They didn't have to do this. They didn't
Yep.
have to double down and go,
Yep.
we're trying they're trying to make a dynasty right now. They weren't just trying to win one World Series. So it's hats off to them. I'm as an Angels fan who's, been hurting for the past 10 years, I truly hope they don't realign the divisions in a couple of years with the expansion and I have to go against the Dodgers every year for uh to try to make the playoffs because the Angels already have a hard time doing that. So, you know, it would be tough. I'm glad we play these guys 4 to 6 games a year. I'll to put it that way.
Yeah. Uh, that's a good way to end it, I think.
All right, guys. Well, if you like this video, make sure that like and subscribe. As always, we appreciate you guys for listening and watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.